Hello, Multiverse. Welcome to Omniverse Gamers. My name is Damien Bizzaio. This video is going to talk about magic items and why you should give them out, why you should not be afraid of them, and how to make them cool. So, magic items are like the lifeblood of Dungeons and Dragons. They go back, way back, that's just part of the game. Like Lord of the Rings, the weapons are all really cool. They have history. So magic items are just really, really, the DMG's full of them. There's all kinds of books. Everyone, you go for loot, you go for gold, you go for XP, you go for magic items. That's how you play. Now, the strange thing about 5th edition is normal standard 5th edition CR assumes that you parties do not have magic items. You could play through levels 1 through 20 in 5th edition and not get a magic item and fight core monsters, and you will be pretty balanced and pretty successful. Now, that's who I don't know anybody who wants to play that way. You can if you want realism, you want no magic items. I don't know why you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, but if you like a low magic item game, that's cool. But for me, magic items are like the lifeblood of the game and way more important than experience points. Experience points are a arbitrary thing, arbitrary award, whereas a magic item is something tangible that you just gained, and now, oh my god, this magic item's cool. Now, I give out insane, crazy magic items because I like the different mechanics that it involves, and I like to give out things that some DMs would consider broken. I've yet to break 5th edition. I give out things that are insane. And 5th edition, it's pretty moldable. It can pretty much sustain anything. It's not like 3rd edition where you could give out an item and somebody could spam it and just break your game, make it mathematically break your game. The bounded accuracy of 5th edition means that it's really hard to break it. Now, there are some things that are overpowered and maybe unfair to certain players, have this and the other players don't, but I don't worry about that. If one player has a really cool thing, my other players don't care because they all have their own cool things. So it's not like, oh, that guy's got this thing and why does he have it? That's not fair. It's like they don't care because they have their own. The cool thing they have is also breaking the rules and like, oh, well, I don't care what he does. I do what I do. And if you can do it evenly and fairly and not be so afraid of it and not be so competitive about it, the magic items really make another whole layer of your game. You can have all kinds of stuff from the DMG that do crazy things. So the way to make a magic item cool, instead of just like, here's a +1 sword. Great, I have a +1 sword. That's really cool. It's better than my other sword. I like it. I want this +1 sword. But all it's doing is adding a number to my dice roll. It's not doing anything in game. You're still swinging the sword. That's all it's doing. Whereas, say, alternatively, if you were to give out an item, say so, say here's a Dragon Force hammer I give out. While you're wielding it, you get a +1 warhammer. So yeah, it's just a +1 warhammer. But you get a bonus shove attack on any creature that's within your reach. So you can swing with this hammer, and it goes through, and you can shove somebody for a bonus action. Anybody can do that. So what this is doing, it's adding to action economy. It's giving them something to do that breaks their action economy. Is it game breaking? No, I'm giving them an extra action. Yeah, but because I give everybody something, it's not game breaking and it's fun. It gives them something tactically they can do with this weapon other than just I hit you, I deal D8 +4. I'm done. I hit you, deal D8. Now I'm gonna smack his knee and try to make him prone for the next guy to come hit. And it's a tactical thing. If you have a rogue in the party, he's going to stay a lot closer to the guy wielding this because he can maybe get him prone and get that advantage attack, and boom. So it's a way to... This weapon, it's a +1 weapon, but it's that one little extra thing that makes it tactical as opposed to just being a +1 weapon. Here's another one. This is say it's a shield. Like I give this shield out. Instead of giving a +1 shield, yeah, you have a +1 armor class. Great. Or you can give them this shield, which not only gives a +1, so it makes the person wielding it a +3 armor class. You can kind of this spectral force comes out of it, and it will give the person within 5 feet a +1 to their armor class. So this shield, is that game breaking? I don't know. You're getting a +1. I know the protection ability does that anyway, so you're kind of nerfing that, but they work together. This works together with protection +1. This is going to add to that. So if you have a protection fighter with a shield, this is doubly important. So it's not hurting anything, it's adding to it. So now my fighter who's fighting with a shield, if the rogue or the mage is nearby, he can push the one over to them. You know what I mean? So it's a more tactical thing that they can do than just get a bonus to armor class, which you don't, a +1 bonus, there's no in-game, in-story thing for that at all. It's just a more damage. Where now you're like, oh, I'm putting my shield up, and now the spirit on my shield is going to extend to the guy next to me. He's going to get that shield bonus. Yes, it's just a static +1 bonus, but the tactical nature and the role playing of here, I got you. There's a lot more to it. So it's just a +1 shield. So you're basically giving, instead of giving 2 people a +1 shield, you're giving one person a +1 shield, and he can extend it to the other person. Now shield bonuses don't stack, so if that guy's holding a shield, it doesn't help them. So it only helps people that don't have a shield. So it seems it's breaking economy, but it's not breaking the game because the numbers are pretty much the same. Now here's another magic item. So here's another one I do. Now I love giving out items that do weird things that maybe break the game, maybe don't. But I like giving magic items that are tools. So make it like a weapon of fire or a weapon of. See, if you say you get everybody in your party, give one a weapon of fire, one a thunder, one a lightning, one a cold. They're all just getting +1 weapons, but now those weapons deal those damage types instead of the normal damage type. So if you go to fight monsters and you learn their resistances and their vulnerabilities, you oh, this guy's resistant to thunder. Oh, you got that thunder sword. Go attack with him. Or you got the cold sword. It works, you know. So it gives them more than just a +1. You don't even have to give it a +1. You can now in 5th edition, you don't even need a +1 to make it magical, which in my mind doesn't work because in 3rd edition and you have to have a +1. It's a whole big anyway. But in 5th edition, you can just give a weapon an ability. Yeah, this weapon deals fire damage. Go. So when you fight a creature that has fire, you got that weapon. It gives them more tactical thing to think about than just +1 and more tools. So say like I got this one javelin, I let them throw it. This javelin goes really far and it deals extra damage, and you can call it back. It's a bonus action. You can call it back. That's its main ability. But once per day, you can throw this javelin. Once per day, you can Misty Step to the javelin. This is crazy game-breaking movement because he's going to move. You can just throw it, and even if he misses, the javelin's on the ground. He's going to teleport to that. So our barbarians use that a lot. Because barbarians want to close in. So you shoot this javelin. You have a monk that has one too, and he just shoots as far as he can go. He'll teleport to it, and then his next turn, he's already in combat. He doesn't have to run up to combat. He can just blink, which is great. And that's how I intended this javelin to work. But then sometimes players will find ingenious ways to use this. But anyway, so because you can teleport to this javelin, there's other things you can do with it. So in the last session, they fought a giant octopus thing, and they killed it. I made a video about that. You can go check that out. But at the end, they wanted to bring this carcass back to their rowboat, to tie it to the rowboat to go back to sea. But there was a lot of land in between, and this thing's really heavy. But I let them. He's like, well, what if I grapple it? I mean, it's 2 sizes bigger than him, but he's powerful build, so technically he could legally grapple it. He can't. It's heavy, and it's 3,000 pounds, so he can't really move it. But he can grab it. So I allowed. I'm like, well, if you can get it, so he's like, well, what if somebody else brings my javelin, because I'm attuned to it, they can bring my javelin out to sea, and then they can come back and give me the signal, and I'll just teleport myself to the javelin while I'm grappling the octopus. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to make an athletics check to hold on, because this octopus is huge. You can't really wear it. But I'll let you, I'll give you, if you're grappled, that technically things move with you if they're grappled. So I gave him a chance, and he rolled pretty well, so yeah, you got it. And then he teleported to the javelin. They got that big carcass in the ocean. That was just an ingenious way to use the ability that I gave them that I didn't even think about, but I thought it was great, because that's what I give them all kinds of magical tools. I can throw crazy stuff at them, because they're gonna whip out stuff that I don't even remember giving them, and they solve the puzzle. Like you see my other video where they had the goblin bridge, and I had the kill zone, and there was a big gap and only one little bridge. I'm like, I'm gonna get them. They have to come across this bridge. I'm gonna nail them with ambushes. One of them had this javelin. One of them had boots of striding and jumping. They just bypassed my whole encounter design by jumping back to the edges. And they didn't destroy my encounter. But they bypassed the challenge, and they changed the challenge instantly. They were in the mix, and they used the magical items I gave them to change combat their way. That's their agency and their abilities to change things and to utilize their brains and puzzle solve with their tools. I think of spells and magic items and all their abilities as tools to solve puzzles. So I make my encounters puzzles that I know the stuff they get. Sometimes I know what they have and I kind of based on it. Sometimes I just make a really difficult encounter with all these different dynamic things and different like environmental things they have to overcome, knowing that I gave them a bunch of crap that they can use, and they end up finding a way. Oh, I have this thing I can use. I can shoot this grappling hook, and I can do this, and I can solve this, and I can do this stuff. And that's the one way that magic items just make your game way more fun. Now, there are some problems with giving out magic items sometimes, especially for new DMs. You're kind of afraid. You don't. Well, I don't want to give them this weapon that's going to be way overbalanced, and it's going to end up like they're way too powerful, and I can't contain it. Now, you can always take that weapon away. That's what's good about, rather than, a lot of people like to change the mechanics of classes and change the mechanics of races, and once you do that, you're stuck. Like, I want my assassin to be able to do this certain ability, but it might be game breaking. Whereas instead of making the class ability change, give them a magic item that does it. Because if it's game breaking, take the magic item away. Just break it, put them in an anti-magic field, have an evil sorcerer just like wreck all their magic items, have somebody like a big monster physically take it from them and break it. Or I like to have one I usually do sometimes is like this genie, like all these magical items are mysteries, and this little cloud will appear, this little genie will pop in and be like, oh, that's where that was. And he just grabs their magic item and disappears with it. And they're like, what the hell was that? And it's like, well, that's the guy that created the magic item and it's been missing. Now he's got it back and you don't have that anymore. And they're like, and you talk to the player about it. You don't just like rip it away from them. I mean, you can. That's valid. But you can be like, this is way too powerful. We either have to take this the ability of this magic item down because it's way too much, or I'm going to take it from you in a story way and we'll replace it with something else. Usually, you give them a clue to that so they know you're not just punishing them for no reason. There's a reason why this mechanics of this are not working out. Every encounter, this weapon is changing things and making it to the point where you can't challenge them. Then you have to deal with it. But for most part, in 5th edition, I have not found anything that I've given out that has broken my games. I'm also crazy, and I like a lot of chaos, and I like to be surprised. I don't mind players blowing up my encounters because I already have other ones ready to go. I love when they blow up my encounters. I'm not like, oh my god, now I have nothing. They just ruined my game with all this stuff they have. They go, oh, that was awesome. You guys just wrecked that encounter. I thought those guys was going to murder you. I did not think you were going to beat this at all. And they actually end up using they do something really cool and they destroy it. And it's like, that was great. That's how it's supposed to work. So that was just my little exposition on magic items and why you should give them out and why you should not be afraid of them. You can always take them away. There are plenty of ways to get rid of them. And they make the game way more fun, way more. It's better. I would personally, as a player, would rather have a weapon that's really cool and does something interesting than just get a +1 weapon or get a bunch of experience points or a bunch of gold. Gold 5th edition. What are you gonna do with gold? At a certain point, there's nothing to buy. You can't buy magic items by raw. I mean, I let people. I do mostly a barter system when I do buying magic items. I don't really because gold and magic items aren't. They're not congruent. Where somebody has to craft this magic item. So if you want to buy a magic item, you go to the crafter. He's gonna tell you what you need to do. I want to craft this +1 sword that does blah blah blah. The crafter, whoever the blacksmith is, or the mage, or the artificer, whoever's creating it for you, I'll have them tell them what they need. It's not just like, oh, I need 500 gold for this +1 sword. That's not. I don't do that. Like, well, if you want this sword, I can make it for you, but I need XYZ ingredients. There's 3 quests right there. You just got 3 quests to go get the stuff to make this weapon. You don't need the gold. So it's just there's different ways to add lore into your magic weapons. Find ancient ones, build new ones, things like that. But yeah, so don't be afraid to add magic items to your game, and actually, definitely make them cool and make things that. And I should probably make a thing where I put up some examples of magic items that I give out because I give out insane things that you're gonna be like, well, you can't do that. That'll break the game. It's like, nah, it's fine. This guy has one. This guy has this. This guy has that. The games work out great. So yeah, we are Omniverse Gamers. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Hope to see you soon and keep on gaming.